Missouri Senator Josh Hawley just had a fiery exchange with a doctor, Dr. Nisha Verma, in the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. And it all came down to one question. Take a look.
Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question is.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics.
Absolutely.
So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
There are many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
no, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert. And you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating male and female with...
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological...
You're not going to answer my question.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men.
We're joined now by CBN's Billy Hallowell. Billy, what did you think of that exchange?
I mean, it was painful to watch and listen to, and especially painful because you have the truth, a very simple yes or no question. Can a biological man have a baby? And the answer is no, a biological man cannot have a baby. And this doctor would not answer that question, especially the beginning of this conversation. It is so awkward, so uncomfortable. And I think it's really evidence of how far we've fallen in this culture that we are actually not only afraid, but maybe we don't even have the knowledge. And I don't know this doctor personally, so I can't say. Maybe we don't even have the knowledge or the courage to just say what needs to be said. And in the process, what's so scary about this is that you have medical professionals who are then operating based on that. I want my doctors to be honest with me if I go to them and ask them a question. I don't want to watch what just happened there on the, in the Senate happen between me and my doctor. And so I guess my point is we are in such truth confusion right now. When you see these moments unfold, you realize just how bad it is. And then you say to yourself, how in the world do we allow ourselves as rational, supposedly intelligent human beings in the year 2026 to believe these lies or at least entertain them?
You have to spend decades in school to say something that stupid. And I feel bad because this doctor is obviously Indian. I'm half Indian, so I have a sweet spot for Indian doctors. But I think to your point, the time for dancing around, it's not even just theological truth. It's not even just biblical truth. It's scientific truth. And so I hope that Billy and I can start, not that we're starting this, but add to the chorus of people who are just like, no, No, we're done. Men cannot, the answer is no. That's not hateful. That's not political. That's not demeaning. That's not belittling. That's not even slanderous. That's just a fact. Men cannot get pregnant. The answer to that question is no. And you honestly have to get your master's and your PhD at some of these schools to believe just this absolute nonsense. But what is, I think, a step in the right direction is I feel like we were all under this spell for a couple of years where we're like, I don't know, like maybe we should suspend reality. And I feel like there's this wave, and we've done stories about this, Billy, where people are like, no, I'm not going to play the game anymore. I'm just not going to play that game anymore. Look, you can do what you want to do in your own home. That's fine. But like well, clearly the biblical answer is no, right? In the beginning, God created mankind as image, male and female. Theologically, clearly the answer is no. But scientifically, clearly the answer is no. I can't get a hysterectomy. Why that's even a debate? Why we're even talking about like that? What? And so I think it takes, and the fact that it takes courage and bravery, I guess, on behalf of some people to say that, shows how far we've slid. But at the same time, there is this wave of common sense, left, right, where people are just like, no, I'm not doing this 1984 word speak thing. No, I'm done. And so the answer to the question is no. And that's explicitly not hateful, not denying someone's reality or their existence or their truth. Like there is truth. Like, and at the end of the day, the most loving thing that we can do is to speak truth. And the truth is no, men cannot get pregnant. Billy, I'll give you the last word, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last word here is that we've got to cling to the truth. Again, I'm not attacking this doctor. I don't know. I'm just saying the conversation was incredibly awkward to watch. And I think that we have to say to ourselves, if we are Christians, okay, and I know a lot of other non-Christians who are willing to be more truthful than some Christians are on this, how do we lovingly speak the truth? We cannot ignore the truth. When somebody comes to us and they ask us a question like what happened here, we have to speak the truth. Because when you mislead people, that is not loving. And that's what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with a culture that is propped up on misleading people for the sake of their feelings. And that is not a way for a healthy culture to progress or to grow. It's a way for a culture to literally fizzle out. And we have to pray that more people are willing to stand up and speak the truth.